I'm going to California for a week and my family won't let me bring my service dog. Plus updates. I am not Oop. Oop was you, Jack the service dog. Posting in our service dogs. Fun fact for spoilers. Most people know about service dogs. But did you know there are also service ponies? Miniature horses live longer, don't trigger allergies as often as dogs, and can provide more stable support to those with physical disabilities. Places that allow dogs must allow horses, barring physical factors like weight allowances. Triggers. Ableism. Description of Tourette's tics, including some which inflict self-harm. Less than. Mood spoiler. Frustrating. Less than. Filled up pointing triangle, filled down pointing triangle, filled up pointing triangle, filled down pointing triangle, filled up pointing triangle, filled down pointing triangle, filled up pointing triangle, filled down pointing triangle. I'm going to California for a week and my family won't let me bring my service dog. Rant. September 24th, 2020. So what's happening is that me, my dad, and my sister are driving down to California, LA. 2-day road trip. And stay in LA for 5 days, then my cousin will come back to Washington, Seattle with us for 2 weeks. And then we'll drive her back down. The problem is my aunt doesn't want my service dog to come, and since she is like no all my other family except my sister is also like no. Her reasons are my uncle is allergic. He's allergic to dog spit and has stayed with my service dog and our other dog for 2 weeks before. His allergies are very mild. And they have a cat. I get the cat cause we don't how she will react, but she is always in one room cause she's super old. Also I have a cat and my service dog knows to leave them alone and gives cats space to walk by him. I think my aunt just doesn't want my service dog there causes he's a dog. I have Tourette's and I have bad episodes 3 times a week and they can last for hours if my service dog isn't there, and my aunt knows this. I went to a horse camp this summer for 5 days to see how I would do without my service dog and it wasn't good. I still had fun and could ride the horses fine and my horse was fine with me, but my Tourette's was really making it hard to do stuff. I really want to go to California cause I haven't got the chance since COVID-19 and this is my only chance to see all my family from California. I know I should talk to my aunt about it, but she's my favorite aunt and I don't want to get into an argument and possibly affect our relationship. Any advice? P.S. I will still go without Jack if he's not coming and will show her my tics without him cause she's never seen me without him and she will then know why I have a service dog. Edit. I just want to thank all of you for your suggestions. They were all so helpful. Have a great day. Filled up pointing triangle, filled down pointing triangle, filled up pointing triangle, filled down pointing triangle. I'm going to California and my family won't let me bring my service dog. Rant. Update. September 27th, 2020. 3 days later. So this is an update for my last post. So I tried to talk to my aunt about seeing if we could find a way to work the dog in, but she refused. I wanted to get my reasons out why I need him and my ideas on the plan with him, but she just said no. End of discussion. Her reason was I just don't want a dog in the house and the dog fur. They are clean people, so it made sense. I just wish she let me explain myself. After the meeting my dad said, maybe you don't even need Jack. Maybe he is just a placebo effect for you. This pissed me off. He is claiming that my Tourette's are only better around him because he is there. Not because of the tasks he does for me every day like DPT. My mom also said you would be fine cause you don't tic all the time. She said, I've seen you not tic for a whole month once. My mom leaves in the morning early and comes back late for work and is very busy on the weekends, so she doesn't see me tic all the time. She thinks my Tourette's aren't actually that bad. I tic every day and have bad episode 2 to 3 times a week. I'm just baffled by the lack of support my parents are giving me. They don't think my Tourette's is bad. My mom and dad both work so they don't see me much. My Tourette's has gotten worse around the beginning of quarantine, so that's when I started training my service dog, who is now a full service dog. I hope they will realize how bad my Tourette's has gotten after I take this trip with all of them. Filled up pointing triangle, filled down pointing triangle, filled up pointing triangle, filled down pointing triangle. I'm going to California and my family won't let me bring my service dog. Part 3. Rant. October 14th, 2020. 20 days later. Sorry it took so long for me to post. The trip was kinda long and I wanted to write this after the whole trip was over. So what happened first was the road trip down. We did it in one day. Surprisingly, it's a 17-hour trip from Seattle to LA. When I did have Tourette's episodes, the stress toys and music I brought helped me do something else with my tics instead of pinching or hitting myself. When I got there I was fine and went to bed. The next day we were going to the beach, so we got ready and drove to the beach and also got to say hi to me grandmas. Yes, my grandmas are gay. When we were having lunch I felt a bad episode starting to happen and I started panicking and hyperventilating. My dad went to the car to get my stress toys, but they really couldn't do much now and I did use them to try and calm down, but they weren't working. I started crying and so I had to go to my grandma's house and missed out on going to play at the beach after lunch and go to the fun mall afterwards and getting ice cream. At my grandma's house I needed a quiet place to chill, so I stayed in their cat's room cause it's dark and quiet. Their cat is sweet and he let me pet him. My Tourette's episodes can make me panic and be nervous of everyone, so I barely got to hang out with my grandmas. The panic calmed down after 4 hours, so I was just ticking, so for the last 10 minutes I got to talk to them. Then we had to go cause it was a school night. I did fine the next day, just normal tics and the occasional hitting and scratching myself. The next day after that I had a Tourette's attack and was banging my head in the floor and I scratched this 2-inch long and kinda deep scratch in my arm. I kept hitting myself and my sister decided to hold me down, and she knows you can't do that cause it makes me scared and I panic. She just wanted to help me, which I get, but she was not doing it right. I bit her on accident, but not bad. She finally got off me cause my aunt told her to. I felt bad for my aunt cause she didn't know what to do. My dad came and kept trying to sit on my to do DPT. Again. When I'm having a Tourette's episode and especially a attack, I don't like people touching me that much. It passed after another hour and I missed all my classes that day cause I was in a lot of pain after and was crying. Other next 3 days were normal Tourette's again and more scratching myself. Being loud and distracting to everyone cause we're all in the same house doing school and work. And hitting myself on stuff or just hitting myself. Then after the 3 days I didn't have an attack, but I had an episode and I couldn't stop scratching. And I just scratched a huge scratch on the top of my hand. It's around 2 inch by 2 inch. The next day we went to a place for dinner and I was having tics at the place, but I was still having a good time. It was a little loud, but that wasn't really bothering me too much. After dinner though, when we all went to use the bathroom, when I came out everyone was gone and I started panicking and wandering around the restaurant and on the verge of tears until my cousin found me and led me back to everyone. This is the part where I got pissed. So while waiting for the valet to drop off our car, my uncle and aunt asked my dad if he thinks the trip went well for my tics and if it would have been better for me with Jack there. They never asked for my opinion. And instead of my dad asking me what I thought cause he obviously doesn't know what I feel, he said, "It was fine. Jack, my SD, is just a placebo effect for her, so he would have been able to do much." I was pissed. My dad said Jack is really just a placebo effect for me before the trip also, and I explained how he's not, and so did my mom, yet he still said this. I jumped into the conversation and explained what I thought and lectured my dad and explained to my uncle and aunt about how Jack isn't a placebo and how his task helped me and how my tics have affected me this trip. My aunt and uncle understood, but my dad was just smiling while I was lecturing him and was just saying, okay. Let me tell you my SD's tasks. 1. He alerts me before I have Tourette's episodes, cause usually before they happens I scratch, tap my foot, shake my leg, and sometimes breath heavily. Point 2. He does DPT on my legs when I need to calm down so my tics aren't as crazy depending on my situation. And doing DPT on my chest when I'm having a Tourette's attack cause I'm hyperventilating and there's this weird pressures in my chest that he helps relieve and calm me down. And it's harder to hyperventilate with a dog in your chest. 3. He stops me from scratching and hitting myself by distracting me or diverting my tics to hang on to his fur and tap on his back. Sometimes I do accidentally hit him when he's doing DPT or distracting me, but it doesn't hurt him. He's a very sturdy dog and he knows I can't help it. When we were driving back to Seattle, I explained to my dad more stuff about Jack and my tics. The ride up was fine with the normal tics and stuff. When we finally got home at 11 at night, my mom was waiting outside with Jack and our other dog Jill, his sister, and it was a very happy reunion. In my opinion, Jack should have come. I gave myself 2 of the biggest scratches I have ever given myself, and I scar very easily and I hate having scars. I already have a few to many on my hands and arms if my tics continue to be this bad like they have for the past 2 years and people don't let me bring Jack, then I might just not go on the trips. Because I hate being in pain and bruising and scratching myself and leaving scars. Sure, I did have a lot of fun with my family still, but the cons are outweighing the pros. Anyways, this is the last part of my rant. I hope you have an amazing day. Bye. Filled up pointing triangle, filled down pointing triangle, filled up pointing triangle, filled down pointing triangle, filled up pointing triangle, filled down pointing triangle, filled up pointing triangle, filled down pointing triangle. Let me just say, in the nicest way possible, OOP's father is an insufferable git. Her aunt is one thing, but OOP's dad completely failed her. I hate everyone in this story except Oop. Her dog and all other animals mentioned. Her family are trash. I'm sorry, but they sound like the kind of people who won't believe Oop needs her service dog unless something awful happens to her. And I hate people like that the most. If you are willing to put anyone into harm's way, or simply make them uncomfortable, unsafe, because you personally don't believe in science, then you are garbage. End of discussion. Oop should have let her physician, doctor, read these posts. WTF do these parents think a service dog is? I wonder OOP's been the last 3 years. Let's assume the continued silence isn't a bad sign. Miniature horses provide stable support. Masterful. Op. They think she is okay because they stay the whole day away, they know nothing about her. The dog is a placebo. You don't even need him because your tics aren't that bad and you rarely have them. Op proceeds to have a very hard time without the dog with visible tics. Yeah. The dog does completely nothing and you're just like this all the time. Oop said that you aren't supposed to restrain them when they're having episodes like she mentioned. I am just wondering what you should do to help someone in that situation, like where she was banging her head on the floor repeatedly. Get the impression it might not have been the aunt's fault. From the sounds of things, her dad has been telling everyone that the dog only gives a placebo effect. probably told the aunt before the visit not to budge. This is awful. He's a service dog. People don't get to have service dogs unless they need them for IDK. Their services? I cannot imagine seeing a young person in my family struggling and hurting and being like, the thing she thinks helps her is really just a placebo. Friendo. Even if the service dog is a placebo. If the placebo effect helps her, then he's doing his job. I'm so mad on OOP's behalf. That dad, what an unsupportive awe. As someone whose friend has a service dog, I do think the aunt has the right to not have a dog in her home. Dogs shed and her husband is allergic. The parents are the real assholes here. They should have gotten a hotel. They are in complete denial about their child's needs. This is so sad. Oop deserves better parents. Who even cares if the dog is a placebo if he's a placebo that keeps Oop from dangerous and painful medical episodes? Like, WTF kind of trash parenting is this? Is this girl on medication? I mean, Tourette's medication is really effective, especially when combined with therapy. But she doesn't mention any medical care at all in this post. And given her parents' attitude, shit. OOP's family are jerks, and I hope in the past few years they've been able to find a more understanding support system. As for the fun fact that there are downsides of miniature horse service animals. Horses are prey animals, so no matter how much training they go through, the risk of spooking is always there. Like police horses. You never know when something will set them off. They also stand most of the time, so it's harder for them to fit into places like restaurants, where services dogs would be under a table, or planes, etc. As much as I love my horses, there are very limited service-related jobs I'd trust to them. Why do people raise kids they hate? Hope they get out soon. I don't know a single reputable trainer or organization that would have placed a dog with a minor handler into a home where the whole family wasn't on board with having it in the house, supportive of its use, tasks, and fully understanding of its purpose. I'm all hung up on Seattle to LA in 17 hours. Good Lord. How exhausting. This horrible family. Poor Oop.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.